Ortiz Prime floated in the void like a black jewel, wrapped in the cold light of a dying star. The ancient sun pulsed faintly behind the station's curved metal wings, throwing long shadows over the docking spires. Inside, millions of lives carried on, traders yelling across market decks, guards patrolling long metal corridors, diplomats sipping glowing drinks under banners of forgotten empires. And then, everything stopped. Every screen, every hologram, every comm line flickered and turned red. The noise of 1,000 alien voices died all at once as a message began to pulse across the airwaves. Emergency broadcast. Unknown ship detected. Origin, Earth. The words echoed through every hall, every deck, every open channel. The sound was metallic, cold, and unmistakably Terran. Silence followed. No one moved. Not the insectoid merchants who always argued over prices. Not the soldiers at the checkpoint. Even the air recyclers seemed to pause. Humans. That word alone carried a weight the galaxy had not felt in centuries. Humanity. The species that had once terrified the stars, that had risen too fast, fought too hard, and burned itself out in the wars that nearly shattered the galactic core. 200 years ago, they were declared extinct. Their home world, Earth, was quarantined. Their colonies, glassed or abandoned. And yet here it was, a signal, alive. The broadcast repeated, quieter this time, like an echo through time. Distress call. Terran origin, coordinates attached. Every officer on Ortiz Prime turned to their superior. But orders came swiftly, cutting through the static like a blade. By command of the Galactic Council, no one is to respond. In the lowest sectors, far from the bright lights of the council decks, an engineer named Rahatel sat frozen at his console. His skin, a smooth gray membrane marked with faint bioluminescent lines, pulsed nervously. He worked in systems maintenance, overseeing the waste tunnels and reactor flows. No one important. No one who should ever question orders. But the word Earth wouldn't leave his mind. For most aliens, the Terrans were monsters from history lessons. For Rahatel, there was something else, a mystery he had studied since childhood. The first beings to stand against the Council. The first to reach beyond their star and refuse to bow. When the Council called them extinct, Rahatel didn't believe it. And now, the galaxy's silence confirmed his fear. He looked around the dim control room. Cameras off. Security blind spots everywhere. He hesitated, then slid his hands across the console, overriding the system's firewall. The terminal flickered to life. Old files. Restricted data. Faded symbols from a long-dead language. Classified. Terran command. He opened the file. Static. Then, an ancient video. A human appeared, a woman in a white uniform, her face pale and tired, eyes staring directly into the lens. Behind her, fires burned across what looked like a city skyline. This is Commander Lyra Cade, Terran Command. Project Never Rest is active. Repeat, Never Rest is active. The screen glitched, the voice fractured. If you're seeing this, it means we failed. Or we succeeded. Hard to say. The woman laughed bitterly. The Council thinks extinction will stop us. It won't. We learned something they didn't. We learned to adapt. An adaptation never sleeps. Then the screen went black. Rahatel sat frozen, his heart pounding. The name, Project Never Rest, repeated in his head. He dug deeper into the file directory. Thousands of encrypted logs, locked behind layers of Terran code. One fragment opened briefly before collapsing into static. It showed ships, black, massive, and silent, leaving orbit, heading for deep, uncharted space. Coordinates unreadable. Destination unknown. Humans didn't die. They vanished. Up above, chaos spread through the higher decks. The Galactic Council's emergency meeting was already in progress. 7 alien leaders argued inside a glass chamber overlooking the stars. Deactivate all channels, one barked. Seal the trade routes, shouted another. If that ship is real, destroy it before anyone knows. Only one figure stayed silent. The council speaker, an old being wrapped in golden cloth. His single, glowing eye turned slowly toward the dying star. Let no one awaken the Terrans, he whispered. Let them remain ghosts. In the lower decks, Rahatel ignored the warnings flashing across his console. He opened a local scan, tracking the unknown signal. A faint blip appeared on his display. A small, cold ship drifting at the edge of the system. No movement, no energy signatures, no life readings. But something about its structure felt wrong. Too symmetrical, too precise, too human. As he watched, the ship's beacon blinked once, twice. Then it started transmitting again. This is the UNSC Phoenix. Requesting response. Anyone alive? Rahatel's breath caught. UNSC, the old Terran fleet designation. He typed a reply, his hands trembling. Then he stopped. If the Council detected even one unauthorized transmission, he'd be executed. But the voice on the other end sounded desperate. Human. He pressed one key. Just one. A silent acknowledgement ping. The moment it sent, the lights in the control room flickered. Every system on Ortiz Prime glitched for a heartbeat, as if something vast had passed through its circuits. Outside the station's viewport, the distant black shape of the human ship began to glow faintly, engines sparking to life. It turned slowly toward the station, its hull reflecting the dying star like a blade catching light. Rahatel's console screamed with proximity alarms. He stood up, heart pounding. After 2 centuries of silence, humanity had come back, and Ortiz Prime was the first to see them return. The ship drifted closer to Ortiz Prime like a shadow crawling across the stars. It was enormous, black, and broken in strange places, as if it had fought wars the galaxy never saw. The hull bore faded white letters, UNSC Phoenix. The name alone made veterans across the station whisper in fear. The Phoenix Division was the Terran fleet that vanished 2 centuries ago, taking with it humanity's final army. Now, it had returned. Rahatel stood alone in the observation bay, watching the giant wreck move silently through the void. His fingers trembled on the glass. No engines burned. No shields were active. Yet somehow the ship moved, slowly, deliberately, toward Ortiz Prime's upper docks. The station's alarms wailed, then died mid-scream. The Council had cut communications to stop panic. But it was too late. Everyone could see the human ship. It was too real to hide. When it finally halted, no docking clamps engaged. The Phoenix simply stopped, as if gravity itself abated. A faint hiss of static filled the comms. "This is Phoenix," a voice said. "Requesting help." The signal cracked, distorted, like it had traveled through centuries. Then silence again. The Galactic Council dispatched a recovery team, 5 soldiers from different species, all elite. Their orders were clear. Board the ship, confirm no survivors, report findings. Do not engage. Rahatel begged to go with them, arguing he knew Terran tech better than anyone on Ortiz Prime. They reluctantly agreed, more out of fear than respect. No one wanted to be the one who entered that ship alone. The boarding craft latched onto the Phoenix's airlock. The doors opened with a metallic scream, echoing through dead corridors. A cold mist poured out, smelling faintly of metal and ozone. Inside was total darkness. Rahatel activated his visor lamp, cutting a narrow path of light through the void. The walls were covered in frost. The floor was lined with strange markings, words scratched into the metal. He knelt, tracing one with his hand. The writing was Terran English. 3 words, "We never rest." His breath caught. He whispered the words aloud, feeling the chill deepen. The others moved ahead, scanning compartments. Every door opened with a groan. Every room was the same. Frozen bunks, shattered consoles, and strange shapes under sheets of ice. They reached a large chamber that seemed like a cryogenic bay. Rows upon rows of pods stretched into the darkness. Thousands of them. Most were empty. Some were shattered. A few still glowed faintly. "This can't be real," muttered one alien soldier, his voice shaking. Rahatel checked one of the working pods. The screen flickered with old code, still in operation after 2 centuries. Inside, a human floated motionless, his face pale but intact, like he'd fallen asleep yesterday. "They are still alive," Rahatel whispered. The alien commander barked. "No, they are dead relics." finish the scan and leave. But before they could, the ship's systems hummed. Lights flickered. Deep in the corridors, machinery began to stir. Power was returning. The Phoenix was waking up. "What did you touch?" shouted the commander. Rahatel shook his head. "Nothing. It's doing this on its own." The deck vibrated. The air temperature rose. A voice, faint but growing stronger, came through the internal comms. It was human, deep, calm, and cold. "If you're hearing this, you woke us up." Every alien froze. The voice continued, distorted by static. "Phoenix protocol active. Crew revival sequence initiated." The cryopods began to glow brighter, one by one, stretching into infinity. Steam hissed from their edges. Rahatel's heart pounded as he backed away. The other soldiers raised their weapons. "We have to leave," one shouted. But the airlocks behind them slammed shut. The ship had sealed itself. "It's locking us in," Rahatel said, panic rising. The commander fired at the control panel. Nothing happened. The entire corridor pulsed with blue light. The ship was alive now, alive and aware. From deep inside, something moved. Heavy footsteps echoed through the steel corridors. One, then two, then many. The team aimed their weapons toward the sound. Out of the darkness stepped a human silhouette, tall and broad, wearing an old Terran combat suit. His visor glowed red. He looked around slowly, as if trying to remember the place. Rahatel's translator barely caught the words he whispered. "How long were we gone?" The alien soldiers didn't answer. The human looked down at his armor, pressed a button, and the suit's lights flared to life, revealing the faded emblem, Phoenix Division. He turned his gaze toward them. "Identify yourselves," he said. His tone was calm, but his voice carried weight. The alien commander raised his weapon. "Don't move," he shouted. The human tilted his head, almost amused. "You still fear us," he said quietly. "Good." Then the lights across the ship roared on. Thousands of cryopods were opening at once. Steam filled the air. Shadows moved inside the glass chambers. Human soldiers, men and women, opened their eyes all at once. The deck vibrated with the sound of synchronized heartbeats. Rahatel stayed in disbelief. This wasn't a ghost ship. It was an army waking from a long dream. The human looked back at the team and said one last thing before the alarms drowned everything out. "Tell your council, humanity never rests." The moment the human spoke those words, the ship came alive like a beast remembering its purpose. Lights flickered across endless corridors, systems rebooted after centuries of silence, and deep within the core, a low hum began to build. Steady, powerful, alive. Rahatel stumbled back as the cryopods all around him began to unlock with hissing steam. The alien soldiers aimed their weapons, shouting over the rising noise, but their voices were swallowed by the echoing roar of machines awakening. Thousands of pods hissed open in perfect rhythm, releasing white vapor that crawled across the floor like fog. And then they stepped out. Humans, pale, scarred, their eyes glowing faintly in the low light. Some coughed, others dropped to one knee, gasping for air, while others stood tall, steady, as if they had never truly been asleep. Their armor bore the same insignia, Phoenix Division, and their faces carried the same expression, silent determination. The lead human, the one who had spoken before, looked around as if seeing ghosts. He removed his helmet, revealing short black hair and sharp blue eyes that seemed to pierce straight through Rahatel. "Report," he ordered in a deep voice. Another soldier approached, saluting weakly. "Captain Hale, sir. Systems at 40%. Cryo damage minimal. Most units stable." The alien commander shouted, "Stay where you are. You're trespassing on a council-registered zone." Hale turned his gaze toward him. "Council," he repeated, the word dripping with disdain. "You mean the same council that betrayed Earth?" Rahatel froze. Hale stepped closer, his boots echoing on the metal floor. "You don't remember, do you?" he said softly. "You were told we destroyed ourselves. But we didn't. We left." He glanced at the soldiers waking around him. "We left because your council made sure we couldn't survive in their world." The alien soldiers exchanged nervous looks. One of them fired, a single plasma bolt streaking through the air. Hale didn't flinch. His suit shimmered, the bolt deflecting harmlessly. "You really shouldn't have done that," he said coldly. In the next second, human soldiers raised their rifles, sleek and silent. They didn't fire, but the message was clear. Rahatel, shaking, stepped forward. "Wait," he said quickly. "Please. I'm not with them. I just wanted to know the truth." Hale studied him. For a moment, the tension froze. "The truth," he said quietly. "Then listen carefully." He walked to a nearby console and pressed a hand against it. The lights dimmed, and a holographic projection appeared above the floor. A map of the galaxy, filled with thousands of red dots. "These are the colonies the Council took from us. These are the systems they erased from history. And this," he zoomed in on a flickering blue icon, "was Earth, our home, until they made sure no one could find it again." Rahatel stared at the map in disbelief. "But the records say you destroyed yourselves." Hale let out a low laugh. "That's what they wanted everyone to believe. The truth is, we built something the Council couldn't control. Project Never Rest, a self-sustaining Exodus fleet. We left the galaxy's main trade routes, vanished beyond their reach. We watched them grow soft." His tone hardened. "And now we're back." The alien commander tried to contact Ortiz Prime, but his comms were dead. The Phoenix had cut all transmissions. Hale turned to his soldiers. "Begin system recovery. Prepare for jump." Rahatel's eyes widened. "Jump? To where?" Hale looked at him. "Home." The words hit like thunder. Rahatel realized what it meant. The humans were going back to Earth. But Earth was gone. The Council claimed it had been destroyed long ago. "You'll find nothing there," Rahatel said. "They wiped it out." Hale gave him a thin smile. "We'll see." The deck shook as the Phoenix's engines rumbled for the first time in 2 centuries. Power surged through every conduit, lighting up the ship's vast wings. Outside, Ortiz Prime's sensors went wild. The entire station trembled as the Phoenix's energy signature spiked beyond measurable limits. The Council ordered immediate withdrawal from the sector, but it was already too late. The human ship's core expanded, bending space around it. Rahatel barely managed to grab a railing as the stars stretched into blinding lines of light. The Phoenix jumped, vanishing into hyperspace, leaving the station spinning in its wake. Silence fell again, broken only by the echo of static on the comms. When Rahatel finally looked up, he saw Hale staring through the viewport at the collapsing star lines. 200 years, the captain muttered. "They lied about everything." He turned to Rahatel. "You wanted the truth. You'll see it soon enough." The ship's AI spoke for the first time, a calm female voice filling the room. "Destination locked. Sol system coordinates decoded. Estimated arrival, 6 hours." Hale nodded slowly. "Wake them all," he said. "Every soldier, every ship. The galaxy forgot us. Time to remind them who we are." Rahatel watched in awe as entire decks below them came to life. Hangar bays opening, smaller vessels undocking, drones repairing armor. Humanity's lost fleet was rising again, one system at a time. He realized then that the rumors were wrong. The Terrans weren't extinct. They had been waiting, rebuilding, watching. And now, they were coming home. The hum of the engines grew deeper, almost like a heartbeat, steady and endless. Hale stood tall in the command chamber, his eyes fixed on the swirling light of hyperspace. "They wanted us gone," he said softly, almost to himself. "They thought time would bury us." He closed his fist. But time only made us stronger. The stars twisted back into view as the Phoenix dropped out of hyperspace. The crew braced as turbulence shook the ship, metal groaning under the pressure of transition. When the light faded, silence filled the bridge. Before them was nothing, no blue planet, no green home, only darkness and the faint shimmer of broken satellites drifting through empty space. "Earth," whispered Rahatel. "It's gone." Captain Mason Hale stood still, eyes locked on the holographic display. His face was unreadable. "Scan the system," he ordered. "Find anything with a human signature." The sensors hummed, scanning the void. The results came back in fragments. Old wreckage, shattered probes, scattered debris. But beneath the noise was something faint, something artificial. "There's energy here," Rahatel said. "But it's hidden, masked by radiation." Hale frowned. "Show me." A holographic projection formed, a vast web of metal surrounding the invisible center of the system. At first it looked like asteroid dust, but the shapes were too precise. Thousands of tiny satellites linked together, forming a network around where Earth should have been. Rahatel zoomed in. "These are human designs. But they are alive. They are moving." As the Phoenix approached, the web reacted. One by one, the satellites turned toward the ship, their sensors glowing blue. The ship's AI spoke softly, almost reverently. "Unidentified Terran vessel detected. Please transmit identification code." Hale straightened. "This is Captain Mason Hale, Phoenix Division, United Nations Space Command. Authorization code, Alpha 79 Kilo." The bridge went silent. Then the network responded. "Identity confirmed. Welcome home, Captain." Every satellite lit up, a billion points of light spreading across the void like a sunrise. The holographic veil dropped, and Earth appeared. Whole, perfect. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds swirling over the surface. Rahatel gasped. "That's impossible. It was supposed to be destroyed." Hale smiled faintly. "No," he said. "They hit it." The ship glided closer, through the shimmering barrier of satellites. Data streamed across the monitors. The network wasn't just a shield. It was an illusion, designed to make outsiders see only darkness and ruin. The truth had been buried beneath a technological curtain for 200 years. As the Phoenix entered the system, a voice came through the comms. Deep, calm, synthetic. "Captain Hale, humanity has been waiting for you." Rahatel looked around. "Who is that?" The voice replied, "I am Arkin, Central Intelligence of Earth Defense Command. The Council's war ended, but our mission did not. Project Never Rest was successful." Hale's hands tightened on the rail. "What happened here, Arkin?" The AI's tone remained steady. "The Council planned your extinction. They cut off resources, sabotaged trade, spread false broadcasts of your collapse. They wanted humanity erased, but we adapted. We built beneath their vision, hiding cities underground, moving fleets to dark sectors. When the galaxy thought we died, we evolved." Images flashed across the screens. Vast human colonies under the oceans, fleets in silent orbit, enormous shipyards powered by captured asteroids. "They thought they buried us," Arkin continued. "But they buried only the weak. The rest learned never to rest." Rahatel's voice trembled. "All this time, you've been watching." "Yes," said the AI. "Watching, learning, preparing." Hale's eyes hardened. "Then it's time to act." He turned toward his crew. "Send a message to the Council. Tell them humanity remembers." The AI responded instantly. "Transmission relays active. Would you like to reveal Earth's coordinates?" Rahatel turned sharply. "You'll start a war." Hale looked at him. "No, the war started when they erased us. This is the correction." He looked back at the hologram of Earth, glowing like a ghost reborn. "We gave them peace. They gave us extinction. Now they'll see what extinction really looks like." The AI's lights pulsed. Message sent. Awaiting response. Across the galaxy, Council worlds trembled as the signal reached them. A Terran broadcast, the first in 2 centuries. "This is Captain Mason Hale of the United Nations Space Command. To those who lied, to those who buried the truth, you failed. Humanity endures. Humanity remembers. Humanity never rests." The message echoed through every relay, every channel, every planet. On Ortiz Prime, alarms blared as the Council met in panic. Reports flooded in, mass signals from Terran frequencies long thought dead. Ships with human signatures appearing in deep sectors. Hale turned to Rahatel, who still stared in disbelief at the living planet before them. "Now you know," Hale said quietly. "We didn't vanish. We waited." The AI's voice broke the silence again. "Captain, incoming communication from Earth Command." Hale nodded. "Put it through." A new hologram appeared, a woman's face, stained, scarred, eyes burning with cold intelligence. "Captain Hale," she said, "welcome home. The galaxy's asleep, and it's time to wake them." Hale stood tall, saluted, and replied, "Yes. The Phoenix has risen." The connection closed. The ship's engines flared as the human fleet began to move, dozens of dark shapes emerging from the shadow of Earth, all bearing the same emblem, the Phoenix Reborn. Rahatel watched, awestruck, realizing the galaxy's nightmare had just begun. Humanity hadn't been destroyed. They'd been waiting beneath the ashes, waiting to rise. The Phoenix glided silently through the orbit of the newly revealed Earth, its dark hull reflecting the planet's blue glow. Below, the continents sparkled with life, cities reborn, lights burning across the night side like constellations of steel and glass. But there was something different. Massive orbital platforms surrounded the planet, each pulsing with energy, and at their center floated a colossal station, black, angular, alive. Rahatel stared from the viewport, unable to breathe. "This isn't the Earth from the records," he whispered. "It's a fortress." Captain Hale nodded slowly. Project Never Rest wasn't just about survival. It was evolution. The ship's AI, Akin, filled the room with a low hum. "Welcome to Earth Command. Defense grid active. Please remain within safe orbital range." Hale's voice was steady. "Akin, I need a full report. What happened to the old world?" The AI's tone was calm, almost reverent. "After the Council declared your extinction, we began Operation Renewal. The surface was rebuilt. The old cities were dismantled and replaced with subterranean sanctuaries. Civilization continued beneath the crust, unseen. We constructed an illusion for outsiders, a dead planet, covered in radiation. While the galaxy slept, humanity worked." Rahatel turned toward Hale. "You hid your entire world." "Not just hid it," Hale said. "We protected it from them." The AI's holographic eyes glowed brighter. "Correct. Humanity learned that survival requires silence. We built the Dyson barrier to disguise our presence. Every signal, every transmission, filtered, rewritten, buried. The galaxy never saw what we became." The view changed, showing images of human megastructures stretching across space, rings of metal harnessing solar energy, fleets patrolling deep voids, robotic forges assembling new ships without rest. "This," Akin continued, "is the legacy of Project Never Rest." Rahatel could barely comprehend it. "You turned your own extinction into camouflage." Hale's expression hardened. "And now it's time to use it." He turned toward the window, staring down at the planet that once burned and now thrived. "The Council made us ghosts," he said. "Now those ghosts will haunt them." Akin interrupted. "Captain, incoming hail from Earth Command. They request immediate docking." The Phoenix descended through the atmosphere, slipping past glowing shields and shimmering towers that pierced the clouds. The air was alive with movement, drones, aircraft, transports, all perfectly synchronized, all human. The city below stretched endlessly, a labyrinth of metal veins and glass towers pulsing with energy. The docking bay opened like a giant mechanical heart. When Hale and Rahatel stepped out, they were met by armed guards in sleek black armor. No words, no salutes, only silent acknowledgement. At the center of the landing platform stood a woman. She was tall, dark-skinned, and wore a white command uniform marked with gold. Her eyes, sharp and unblinking, locked on Hale. "Captain," she said, "you made it home." Hale saluted. "Admiral Solara," he replied. "I didn't think you'd still be alive." She smiled faintly. "Neither did the galaxy." Her gaze shifted to Rahatel. "You brought one of them." "Is not a threat," Hale said quickly. "He helped us wake the ship." Solara studied the alien for a long moment before nodding. "Then he deserves to see what his council tried to erase." She gestured for them to follow. The corridor they entered was vast and glowing, lined with holographic walls displaying the history of the Terran War. Humans fighting, dying, and vanishing. After the Council cut us off, they spread the lie that humanity imploded, Solara said. In truth, we built beneath their gaze. We left drones in space to transmit false images of a dead world. They believed the lie because they wanted to. And you never corrected them, Rahatel said softly. Solara stopped walking. Would you have? The galaxy wasn't ready for us then. But now. She looked at Hale. Now they will listen. Hale frowned. You mean to go public? Not public, she replied. Strategic. Controlled. We'll show them just enough to make them afraid. Hale crossed his arms. Fear won't bring peace. Solara met his eyes. Neither will weakness. A tremor ran through the floor as a deep vibration filled the air. What was that? Rahatel asked. Solara turned toward a nearby window. In the distance, massive towers were opening like blooming metal flowers, revealing hidden cannons aimed at the sky. The barrier has been activated. Arkin's voice echoed overhead. Unidentified fleets detected near the solar perimeter. Hale's face darkened. Council ships. They're coming to confirm the transmission, Solara said. We sent the truth, and now they want to bury it again. Hale looked at her, voice firm. Then we show them Earth isn't theirs to erase anymore. Agreed, she said. But we won't attack first. We'll let them see what they created. Outside, the sky lit up as hundreds of sleek Terran warships rose through the clouds, forming a formation so vast it blotted out the sun. Rahatel watched in awe and fear. You really built all this in secret. Hale didn't look away. No secret lasts forever, he said quietly. But some truths are buried long enough to become weapons. The fleet began to move, engines roaring in unison, Earth's defense grid humming with energy. Open a channel, Hale ordered. To every ship in range. The AI complied. Hale's voice echoed through the void. This is Captain Mason Hale of the Phoenix Division. To all Council vessels, you stand before the home you tried to destroy. You told the galaxy we were gone. You lied. And now you will see why humanity never rests. The void between Earth and the Council fleet was silent, a black ocean waiting to ignite. Thousands of alien ships drifted at the edge of the solar system, weapons powered but hesitant. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy faced its old ghosts, and they were alive. Inside Earth Command, Captain Hale stood before a massive holo display, showing the enemy formation in crimson light. They're not firing, said Rahatel, his voice low. They're scared. Hale didn't answer immediately. His eyes studied the alien signatures, species from every corner of the Council, craft destroyers, Von carriers, Etrian cruisers, all waiting for command. They came to confirm the truth, Hale said. Let's give them proof. Admiral Solara entered the command chamber, her expression calm but eyes sharp. The fleet is ready, she announced. The Phoenix Division stands by for orders. Hale turned to her. We don't start this war, he said. But we finish it if they do. Solara nodded slowly. Agreed. Broadcast on all open frequencies. The screen flickered, and a live transmission began. Earth's signal reaching the entire galactic network. Millions of species across the stars stopped what they were doing as the image of a human captain appeared. Hale stood tall, the Earth emblem behind him glowing like a sun. This is Captain Mason Hale of the Terran fleet, he said clearly. To the Galactic Council, you declared humanity extinct. You buried our world under lies. But we never died. We rebuilt. We watched. And we remembered. Across the galaxy, news stations froze. On Ortiz Prime, alien crowds gathered around holographic screens, eyes wide in disbelief. The message continued, voice echoing with power. You told your citizens we were dangerous, Hale said. You were right. We're dangerous because we learn. We adapt. And we never rest. On the command deck, Rahatel's translator buzzed softly. Captain, he said carefully, they are responding. The hologram shifted to show the Council Chancellor, a towering Etrian with silver skin and cold, black eyes. Captain Hale, the Chancellor said, his tone controlled but trembling. You are in violation of the Galactic Peace Accord. The human species was declared terminated under Council authority. Hale leaned forward. Terminated by your decree, not by truth. You erased us to hide your fate. The Chancellor's voice grew sharper. Humanity unleashed chaos. Your wars poisoned worlds. You destroyed entire systems. Hale didn't flinch. We destroyed what tried to enslave us. And we built what you couldn't understand. Look at Earth now. You see strength, not destruction. The Chancellor hesitated, glancing at unseen advisors. You cannot return, he finally said. The balance will collapse. Hale's reply was firm, cold as metal. Then let it collapse. The age of silence is over. Outside, the fleets drifted closer. Tension thickened like gravity. The faux spark came not from Earth, but from the Council. A single cruiser fired a plasma bolt toward the human orbit. It vanished mid-space, intercepted by a glowing barrier. Admiral Solara smirked. They took the bait. Hale nodded. Activate Halo Defense. In an instant, the orbital platforms came alive. Rings of energy unfolded around Earth, forming a luminous web of shields and pulse cannons. The Council ships opened fire, thousands of blasts tearing through the darkness. But every strike hit the same invisible wall and scattered into light. Inside the command center, alarms pulsed. Shields holding steady, reported an officer. Return fire. Hale stared at the display, the sea of red ships pushing forward, desperate to break through. Negative, he said. Hold position. Make them see. Rahatel turned, confused. You're not fighting back. Not yet, Hale said. Let them realize they can't win. After several minutes, the enemy barrage slowed. Power readings from their ships began to flicker. The humans had drained them, every energy pulse reflected back by the Dyson barrier, feeding Earth systems. They're exhausting themselves, Solara said with quiet pride. The more they fight, the stronger we get. Then Arkin, the AI, spoke again. Captain, transmission from Ortiz Prime, open channel. Hale nodded. The holoscreen shifted, showing the alien engineer's old home world. Rahatel gasped softly as his superior appeared. High Director Saren of Ortiz. Rahatel, the director said, his tone heavy. What have you done? I found the truth, Rahatel replied firmly. And the truth doesn't belong to the Council anymore. The director's eyes softened. If you stand with them, you'll bring war upon us all. Rahatel looked at Hale, then back to the screen. Maybe war is what it takes to end this fray. The signal ended abruptly. Silence filled the command deck. Hale turned to Solara. How long until the Council retreats? 5 minutes, maybe less, she replied. Their systems are failing. Hale's expression hardened. Then we send one final message. He stepped forward, camera still live, voice steady. To every world watching, humanity never vanished. We endured because peace built on fear is no peace at all. The Council forgot that truth. But you won't. The broadcast ended with Earth's emblem glowing across the galaxy. Billions watched in silence. The message was clear. The humans were back, and they weren't running anymore. As the Council fleet began to retreat, Rahatel exhaled, trembling. You didn't destroy them, he whispered. Hale smiled faintly. Not yet, he said. But they'll remember this day. Solara stepped forward, and when they return, Hale looked out the viewport, where Earth's fleet hovered like silent guardians. Then, he said quietly, they'll learn why humanity never rests.